viewers, today we are going to talk about mesenchymal stem cells. I'm sure all of you know stem cells. Stem cells have got very exciting possibility in the medical field right now. We actually can do repair, we can recreate organs or areas of the body that has actually been damaged due to unforeseen circumstances, or we can prevent and heal from many of the degenerative diseases. Okay, now you may ask me the question, what is mesenchymal stem cells do? Okay, mesenchymal stem cell is one of the major pool of stem cell that we have formed in our body from the embryonic stages. That means when we are embryos, one of the major systems that produce most of our organs, including our brains, our bone, our cartilages, collagen structures like the liver, the kidney, the heart, the blood vessels, and also the skin, hair, nails, joints, cartilages, synovial fluids. All of this is formed from one cell which is called the mesenchymal cells. And now today we have a model who actually has got some injuries due to her practicing yoga a little bit later in life, I think. And so she has overstretched and injured her left knee a little bit. So what does mesenchymal stem cell do towards this kind of problems? Of course, many of us have problems with wear and tear, osteoarthritis. Some of us may have spoiled our joints because we have other problems like gout or injuries or rheumatoid arthritis, things like that. So why the mesenchymal cell is going to help when I inject it inside? Basically, the mesenchymal cell or any stem cell, when it's injected into a particular area.
The world over, mankind has been struggling with a simple fact. We all age and we will eventually grow old. Our bodies are made out from components of organs, and our organs are made out from about 220 kinds of cells. Aging simply means our cells wither away faster than it can regenerate. As we grow older, we are also prone to a host of chronic and aging diseases. The pure fact remains, when our cells get injured or damaged, no amount of exercise, sleep or balanced diet will ever be fully adequate to revitalize or repair our cells. Our cells are as old as we are, and without an external vigorous regenerative factor, it is impossible to attain the lifestyle that we so often dream about. We aim to add quality life to years and not years to life.
How well our cells work, how well they repair themselves, and how well they reproduce is reflected in the way we function at the level of our tissues, organs, systems, and our performance in daily life. This is true for ourselves today and for our future selves. Aging is the result of cellular damage building up over time. Small inefficiencies in DNA repair, free radical scavenging, and telomere function create a cellular environment that further damages cells. The negative effects of poor cell health are seen across all biological scales, through tissues, organ systems, behavior, and performance.
Hello and welcome back on Brahma today. You're still with me, Elena. And earlier you saw an introduction to what we'll be speaking about earlier with our lovely Dr. Alice Prathama Michael, founder of Dr. Alice Medical Center and our total wellness guru and consultant. How are you doing today?
Very good, thank you.
Very nice to have you in the show again. And we saw a glimpse or an overview of what we were speaking about today in terms of the topic. Perhaps you could quickly let us know. This is mesenchymal.
Yes,
mesenchymal stem cells. Okay,
yeah.
I think a lot of people are exposed of have heard of the term stem cells before.
Yes.
But what about mesenchymal stem cells? Perhaps you can give us a little bit more of an understanding of that.
Yeah, first of all, to start off, many people are confused about what is called stem cells. Sometimes it's a very widely used
Yes.
term. I think it's an abused term as well.
I think so.
Yeah, but to be titled stem cells need to have the power to actually divide and multiply.
Building blocks, right?
They actually multiply to their own cells. That means
Right.
we put one cell, they have the tendency to just divide and, procreate more billions of cells. That is number one.
Right.
And then stem cells also have the tendency to multiply to their original cell,
Okay.
the same one as they were originally, and they also can form other systems from that group.
Okay.
And when we talk about mesenchymal stem cells, we are talking about multipotent cells. That means cells of one particular system of our body. As in the embryonic stage, when we were embryos, we had ectoderm, endoderm, and mesoderm.
All right.
And mesoderm system produces the mesodermal or mesenchymal stem cells, which can be used to multipotency. That means it can be put back into the body, isolated first of all, of course, put back into the body to be able to procreate, to divide and procreate.
And regenerate.
And regenerate
Right.
certain areas of the body, which
Okay.
I was explaining earlier.
Right.
So currently there is so much of research. Most of the major hospitals all over the world are conducting research or doing treatments on using mesenchymal cells popularly.
Right.
Because mesenchymal cells have become something very safe to use.
Okay.
For example, there's one type of cells called embryonic stem cells, which have a lot of issues as per religious reasons, and can embryos be killed in the first place?
Right.
There's anti-abortion, activists who do not like the idea of embryos being destroyed, and but embryonic cells are called totipotent or pluripotent cells, which may sound like gibberish to you guys, excuse me, but what it actually means is it has a tendency to divide to other things that we do not want it to divide to.
Oh.
So it becomes a little bit scary in the sense that if you have a cancer cell that you do not know about, when we inject an embryonic cell, maybe there's a very small chance that it can.
seeds that.
Yeah, so
Right.
we actually use adult stem cells.
Right.
They are no more embryonic.
Right.
This is actually adult stem cells, and what you see is something generally I do in my center day in and day out.
For injuries?
We use this for injuries. Yeah, a lot of people who play competitive sports,
Yes.
footballers, basketballers, people who are recuperating, resting after or in between games, or people who are aging, people who cannot walk because osteoarthritis has actually affected their joints. So my job is actually to know why they develop these problems and to try and put stops in different areas of degenerations. But we will use stem cells as part of the regenerative process.
Okay.
And mesenchymal stem cell is one of the favorite things that I use
Right.
because mesenchymal cells have a very direct impact on regenerating collagen organs. Like we have studies that actually shows that bone can be regrown.
Oh, wow.
When mesenchymal stem cells are injected.
And it doesn't
cartilage,
matter-
definitely, chondral cells or cartilage cells.
Right.
And of course, it adds on to lubrication. It's got a, it actually takes away pain almost immediately. So when it's injected inside, it's got an anti-inflammatory function
Okay.
on bringing down the inflammation cells
Right.
in that particular area. Of course, a stem cell like this, you may ask, where do we get it from?
Yes.
Yeah. So mesenchymal stem cells generally can be got from many ways. Okay. Of course, the most accepted, and it's been used for so many decades in medical science, is the bone marrow transplant.
Okay.
It's been an accepted one. But of course, you may need suppression so that a different person, when they get a bone marrow from another person, they do not reject the transplant.
Yeah.
But currently what we are doing is either from umbilical blood, we can use, but those are actually augmented or they are boosted up
Okay.
to produce a lot of mesenchymal cells
Right.
that is used to regenerate red cells for those of them who have infections or who are suffering from certain disorders where their blood cells cannot be actively produced. Then we actually can inject it back into them. But of course, one of my popular ways of taking it is there's companies like Celebre who has actually wanted to put some information out because they have a mesenchymal stem cell that has been accredited with the Ministry of Health that can be safely injected, that comes from umbilical cord of adults. This is an adult stem cell, sorry, it's umbilical cord, but it's adult stem cell. It's not embryonic, okay?
Right.
So this umbilical cord can be given back to adults who need stem cell therapies. And these, how do they choose the donors? For Celebre, for example, what they have actually assured me is that they actually go through a very good progress of getting people accredited who can donate, the
stem cells.
umbilical cord stem cells.
Right.
So making sure that there is no disease, and this
Right.
is in accordance with MOH safety standards.
Right.
And then they actually augment and produce it. In my centers, we also use from fats or from blood as well.
Right.
So it's something like pheresis, we call it. The blood is taken out and the blood is passed through a system where only the stem cells are removed and the balance of the pure blood is put back into the system.
Right.
And the adult stem cells can also be abundant, 500 times more stem cell in every cell comparison to a bone marrow stem cell.
Right.
So there's abundant in where? In fats.
Oh.
So basically we just take a little bit of fat, as in with liposyringing, about 100 ml of fat, and we are able to produce on the spot. We have FDA approved equipments that help us to produce, clean and count and boost the stem cells, and then immediately transplanting it back to the person. And these are called autologous, and autologous are supposed to be the most safest one because it's from your own blood and it's
Yes.
from your own fat.
Right.
And if it is done in a closed, sterile way, then it actually gives huge amounts of mesenchymal stem cells, which actually can regenerate and repair a lot of things. Cirrhosis of liver is one where huge treatments and a lot of research has been done where liver damage has been corrected by using mesenchymal stem cells. We talked about joints. We can also use it for regeneration of brain tissue because nervous tissue, the Schwann cells, all of this can be regenerated by mesenchymal stem cells as well. Of course, it can be put in a drip, but for using it in a drip directly into the bloodstream, we need to dilute it with pure saline so that it's not one whole block that is going in, but it goes in a gradual way into the body.
Right.
So all of it can be done in a day. And what do people get? They get certain diseases cleared.
Okay.
Okay, so it also helps. There's a lot of studies going on for diabetes management, type 2 diabetes, for example, because pancreatic cells is one cell that can also be stimulated
Oh, amazing.
by the mesenchymal cells. So
Right.
it's just a direct drip of their own autologous, or it could be a well-known brand of mesenchymal stem cell like the Celebre, and it can be put back because of the purity is assured. It can be actually put back into the system, and it helps in general degenerative disorders as well.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you.
It sounds like it's going to be, not to say a miracle cure, but it is a solution for those who have found it hard to overcome certain problems.
Yes.
And this could be a solution. This could be another path for them to be able to explore. Thank you
Yes.
for sharing that with us. If you like to find out a little bit more about mesenchymal stem cells, of course, you can look up Dr. Ellis and perhaps explore the possibilities of finding this as a treatment solution. We will take a short breather right now. When we come back, we have more stories to share with you. Stay tuned.